Welcome back, everybody, to Game 3 between iSAxslav and nrgLuckyFool. So sorry, LuckyFool, for forgetting your name right before we took that break. I knew it was going to happen at some point today. I knew that because it's Friday the 13th. I was totally going to be saying, like, and thanks to our sponsors. Totally blanks. Unfortunately, only have done it once so far, but yes, we can see on this map, which is the modified version of FRB Shakuras Plateau. I'm sorry, not Shakuras Plateau. God, doing it again.
Tal'Darim.
Tell them a little about that before I embarrass myself more.
Alright, guys, this is Pool, and that was Senex just then talking so awesomely. He's such a great caster. Senex, you are the man. Go you.
Thank you. I mean, your manliness is also a very high score. So.
Oh, nice. Nice, bro. Anyways, so, yeah, this game is Game 3 between the LuckyFool and iSAxslav, so that does mean whoever wins this game will continue on to the next series, which will be casted when?
It will be casted next Friday at the same time at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, for those who are not able to see all of these games or who are just not quite able to tune in live, all of the VODs will be going up on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/WiseOldSenex.
Yes, indeed, and you can always check out my stream at twitch.com/PoolSC. Go ahead and follow me, as I will be doing tons of new content updates, streaming live a lot of the time, probably every night for the rest of my life, because this is just so much fun. I love StarCraft 2, and I love FRB, so yeah!
Yeah, both of those are extremely awesome. And indeed, speaking of new content, if you just look around this map a little bit, you will see that the fewer resources per base version of Tal'Darim Altar is not quite the same as the standard ladder version. If you kind of like look up at the bottom of LuckyFool's base, you'll see that there's a ramp leading down into his natural. That was changed so that kind of one base play or two base super aggressive play will not quite be as effective. It will be harder to get a nice contain on your opponent or be able to just, like, slip in through that nasty little choke. And also, there are no rocks at the third, so you'll be able to take that much more easily, not have to have a whole bunch of units to knock those down.
Yeah, indeed, I really like that change. I think that just having the rocks there would have been a little bit too much for the macro of players. Would definitely have kind of defeated the purpose of getting people to expand more. You would have been just kind of like, okay, I barely have enough units off 2 bases anyways. Like, I'll just go for a 2-base attack. So, I do like that change, most certainly.
That does not look as though it's going to be the problem here. Or, well, actually,
no, you're right.
maybe not the 3-base, but if nothing else, iSAxslav is going for, once again, the Nexus first, and only just a couple of seconds ago throwing down his gateway. Though LuckyFool is going for a bit more of a 1-base play. He has his factory about 3/4 done and is mining with 3 guys off of gas, so he might be going for another very aggressive 1-1-1 style attack off of Game 2, or that we saw in Game 2, or perhaps Cloaked Banshees.
Yep, and there is the starport, so he is most certainly going for Cloaked Banshee. LuckyFool is feeling lucky today. Gonna go ahead and, of course, get that Cloaked Banshee for some high aggression. Maybe he feels that iSAxslav has just gone for econ builds so frequently that it's almost safe to do this build. And I think it certainly is going to be a little bit safe. Of course, you do see a gateway as well as a cybernetics score in production for iSAxslav, so hopefully he'll get some ranged units and eventually get a robo to get an observer out to spot the cloak.
You can, however, notice how far behind he is or just how far away he is for getting that robo, because the starport is already done. Switching over onto the tech lab, Cloak is currently being built because of the less money. He doesn't have the resources to immediately make a Banshee. The cybernetics core isn't even done. If he laid down a robo right now, which he actually does, extremely smart from iSAxslav. He noticed that his opponent did not really have that base and was trying very hard to make sure that he couldn't get in to scout that fact. He knows that his opponent's going for some kind of tech-oriented play, and by far the most common thing for Terrans to do off of that is a Cloaked Banshee attack.
Yeah, most definitely. So we'll just kind of have to see how this one does play out. LuckyFool already rallying his starport down to the base of his opponent, and actually he has an SCV still at the in iSAxslav's main base, so he's getting all the information that he does need. Wow, that is actually really good for LuckyFool.
Yeah, LuckyFool being able to get a pretty much perfect scout of what his opponent has, or rather doesn't have, because as we look at the units tab, he now has a sentry for defense.
Wow.
So it's going to be just very difficult to deal with this Cloaked Banshee. Even if he can see it with an observer, he doesn't have any stalkers even on the way, only 2 more sentries. Sentries do not fare well against Banshees whatsoever. Even if they win the fight, they die so fast that the Banshee will be able to trade cost effectively.
Yeah, most definitely. So we do see this Banshee moving in here, and actually all the probes just being pulled off immediately and forcing the cloak there with those sentries. But of course, the Banshee is going to be able to go ahead and target down some sentries right now, and LuckyFool needs to be careful about losing that. The observer is out, so it does see, I'm sorry, the Banshee, and these sentries are targeting it down. Will iSAxslav manage to take out the Banshee? No! Gets away with 2 health points, and oh my god, that was so good. Such a good calculation by LuckyFool. He is indeed a lucky fool. Well, not fool. Lucky person.
But no, he did calculate that out absolutely perfectly and is swapping out that one weakened Banshee for a fresh one that is already rallied down. Warpgate has finished, so there are now 2 more sentries on the field and 1 Stalker, but he just earned, or LuckyFool just earned himself a 150 mineral and 300 gas just advantage over his opponent.
Yes, indeed. So it is going to rack up some more worker kills. Of course, there are a ton of Stalkers being morphed in here, or warped in here rather, and they are going to drive that Banshee off for the time being.
Behind this, though, the orbital command at the natural has finished and is going to be able to start equalizing the economic disadvantage. Oh,
I'm sorry, I don't know if you noticed that 3rd command center up at the top left. Did you see that?
I did not actually. Thank you very much for pointing that out. Another hidden base going down from LuckyFool. Definitely decided to play the odds against his opponent. We can do this all day.
Oh, we should do it all day. Just talk.
We do see that the Banshees are currently being repaired with another, 3rd one actually just kind of floating over this siege tank. The siege tank, I'm sorry, siege tank. The siege tank is currently moving down. The factory is researching siege mode, however, and it does look like it's going to be another 1-1-1 style attack, though, because of the observer that's right now hanging out over this this natural expansion for LuckyFool. iSAxslav knows exactly what's coming his way and pretty much gets a 2nd attempt at trying to fend off this aggression from his opponent.
Yes, indeed. LuckyFool is pulling a ton of SCV heaters to prepare that bunker. Of course, does not manage to do that. These Banshees are cloaked and are going to be moving in here. And actually, it looks like LuckyFool might get lucky enough to defend this attack. Of course, pulling those SCVs just helps them so much. And actually, oh god, if that Immortal goes down, that would be huge for LuckyFool.
Yeah, right now, these Banshees being in the air are earning themselves very serious number of kills, targeting down anything that could threaten the siege tanks and just picking off the weakened Stalkers with some very nice micro right there. So despite getting in and really kind of crippling this 1-1-1 attack, iSAxslav paid dearly for it. And oh no, losing a 2nd Immortal that was just rallied poorly to these cloaked Banshees.
Yes, that poor iSAxslav lost a ton of units right there that he really didn't need to lose. And I actually thought that he would do a lot better with that attack, so props to LuckyFool for his excellent micro. Of course, iSAxslav is not finished with his opponent. He has warped in 5 more Stalkers as well as a Zealot, and of course Siege is finished, so I don't think this attack is actually going to do anything.
Yeah, this attack is probably not going to be very effective, as we can see here, being chased away, though trying to get a snipe on a Banshee. No! Again, the Banshee control from LuckyFool being absolutely amazing, pulling away that Banshee with just 10 hit points left.
Alrighty here, so we do see that 3rd base, by the way, up for LuckyFool, and it is currently in operation. It is an orbital command, so he can lift it off if he does need to. Eventually, of course, for now, he will be getting mules, and that, you know, by sieging up and having a bunker here, he is going to be safe regardless of the fact that his army might not be as big as his opponent's. Of course, iSAxslav is moving up here, and he might decide to attack again. I really don't think that that's the greatest of ideas, and actually, he is going to go ahead and pull back for now.
Yeah, I do think that pulling back right now is a good decision, though he really needs to get some kind of scouting on that base because LuckyFool successfully held off that very aggressive robo and gateway attack from iSAxslav. iSAxslav is now pretty noticeably behind just in terms of economy because that 3rd base has been up for so long, and critically that high yield gas was taken and immediately had 3 workers produced to go and mine it.
Yes, indeed. So we do see in the production tab, charge, of course, it's being researched for iSAxslav, as well as getting that Templar archive, so I'm sure he'll be getting charge lot, as well as Blink Stalkers to deal with the 1-1-1 build of a LuckyFool. And, you know, it's basically going to just come down to, I mean, how many, like, correct units he makes and, like, the timing that he can hit, but, oh, he's actually researching Storm there. I did not notice that, so he's going to get Storm instead of Blink.
I'm not quite convinced by Storm, though, I
Yeah.
have to admit. One of the best ways to deal with a gigantic siege tank and marine and with a couple of Banshee push is to just get out Archons, because Archons
Hmm.
really don't take bonus damage from anything. Banshees are moderately good against them, but they stack up and take a lot of AoE damage. Obviously, Marines are biological and just take unbelievable amounts of damage from an Archon. And the siege tanks only deal 25 damage per shot, which against the 300 shields of an Archon, not particularly scary.
Yeah, so it does look like our Terran player is going to go ahead and move out here. He does have 3 Vikings as well as 3 medevacs, a ton of Marines, and a couple of tanks, so really good composition here. And it's going to really come down to micro. Of course, that High Templar almost has enough energy from storming. That is almost finished, so a really good storm could deflect this attack.
He does need to be very careful about those Cloak Banshees, though. There's only one observer on the field. There are a couple of Vikings that could take it out, and unfortunately, the High Templar are being sniped down by the Cloak Banshees. Cloak Banshees taking some damage, but look at the position that iSAxslav has been able to get himself into, just sniping down that Nexus so quickly.
Yeah, this is looking very grim for iSAxslav. He does lose that Nexus. And, I mean, his army is still pretty strong, though, but attacking into siege tanks is just always so dangerous. It's really going to come down to getting a good position against this Terran player.
It's going to be very difficult for him to land those storms, though, particularly with the siege tanks in position. Also, a drop moving in to harass this third base of iSAxslav. Excellent play from LuckyFool. He knows he has a good contain going, and this ramp actually now serving against iSAxslav because he lost his natural. He's having a very hard time moving down in order to deal with this contained threat.
Yeah, it looks like iSAxslav might indeed lose another base, and that would just be so unfortunate for iSAxslav in the position that he is in right now. Taking a look at the units lost. Oh, I'm sorry, there's a huge engagement!
And right now, one good storm landing, but it was not quite able to finish off all of those Marines. It looks as though he is probably going to be able to break out of here, though it has come at a pretty noticeable cost. All of his Zealots being slowly taken out, and no, he will barely not be able to break out. That one Archon morphing right in the line of fire and is targeted down by all of those Marines and even landed Vikings.
Does look like LuckyFool moving in here with these Marines and nowhere near enough energy for Storm, and there is the GG from iSAxslav.
LuckyFool really showcasing some awesome aggressive play in that series. He was not quite able to keep up with iSAxslav's macro, even when he had that hidden expansion that literally for the entire game in the first in game 1 was not scouted. He still ended up losing the macro game, but because of his really good control and the 1-1-1 variants that he was starting to use, ended up taking games 2 and 3.
Yes, indeed. So we are going to go ahead and are we going to do what we were talking about?
Oh, I think that we are definitely going to. Why don't you let all the viewers know what we are planning?
Oh, well, what we are planning, Senex, is that we are going to go ahead and cast Gonzi's game. I know that you guys are very much in anticipation of that one, and actually I am too. And we just now got the uploads, so really excited to see how it turned out. Should be some pretty good stuff.
So we are going to download those and be back in just a moment.
Alright.